Once your page is set up, your members are actively involved, and at this point during the training, your instructor is likely your only member and possibly other members from your training class. But once you have everything set up, then you're ready to start using and posting content. So the first thing that we're going to discuss is how to post a message. So right there on your homepage, you will see a screen that has a blank note, and again, it's very similar to Facebook and updating your status. So to post a message, you decide whether it's going to be a note, an alert, a quiz, or a poll. And then you can also attach any type of file or link to your post. To send it to an individual group or multiple groups, you're just going to select it. So by default, if you're in your Math Block 1 class, that's who it's going to post to. But if you're running multiple groups and you need to get that message out to all of those different groups, you can add those all on this line, and that message will be sent to everyone. You can send your message immediately, or if you click on that icon that looks like a clock, you can schedule your posts to come in the future. So if you have something that you don't want to be available until Wednesday after school, you can do it during your planning period on Monday, and then you can schedule it to post Wednesday at 4 o'clock, and then your students will not see it, will not be able to work on it until they get home after it is posted. To create a poll, you can click on the poll icon, and you can add multiple choice answers, and the votes that the students give are completely anonymous. So it's not a great way to see how individual students are doing, but it is a great way to get feedback from your class as an entirety. So you can use this as quick checks, like in this example, just using it to check for understanding, or you can also use it to survey the opinions of your class and find out how things are going with your students. When you click on Post an Assignment, your tab is going to look similar to this. Each assignment that you create is saved to a bank for future access. So if you create an assignment in September and you decide that you like it and it's a recurring theme, maybe current events or something that you do in your classroom weekly or monthly, you can always come back and load that assignment again later. You get to choose the due date for your assignment. So if you want it to be due on Friday, it can be due on Friday, and then you also have the option to restrict access so that it's either due on the due date and it disappears for students and they no longer can turn in assignments after they're late, which as we move up into higher grade levels may come in handy in helping teach our students responsibility. As these assignments are being turned in, you can review them. So you'll notice in the bottom right hand corner that it shows you that 4 assignments have already been turned in. It'll give you a brief overview of what the assignment was about. It will give you the description, it will give you the title, and it'll tell you how many are turned in. And this is a great way to keep a progress note quick for you so that you might remind your students, so far only 3 people have turned this in and I need you guys to keep working. When it's time to grade assignments and you go into those student submissions, this is the screen that you're going to see. Grades are automatically added to the grade book. So you are going to input late to keep students from handing in late work. But that's also the place where you're going to put in a score. You can annotate their submitted assignments with comments and detailed feedback by clicking on the icon in the middle that kind of looks like a written page. And you can provide feedback to the students, and this feedback that you leave at the bottom is kept as a permanent record. So when you give them feedback and when you give them comments, that is a permanent record that will not go away. So you'll always have that proof or that documentation that's needed for that specific student or assignment. When creating a quiz in Edmodo, and this is the last tab that we have to go over, but when you're creating a quiz, you have the option to either create one or you can load a previously created quiz. And so if you're using a previous quiz, you can just pull that right up because it saves everything that you create, or you can create it brand new from scratch. When you create new questions, you have the option of true and false, multiple choice, fill in the blank, short answer, matching, or you can also load your own questions from a question bank that you create. You can choose if you'd like to randomize the questions and whether or not you'd like to allow students to review their results immediately. If you click on randomize the questions, what that is going to do is help give you some sense of security if you're going to give an online quiz. It means that when I take the quiz, the questions and answers will appear in a different order than they do when the next student takes the quiz. So even if we're working side by side on computers next to each other, it makes it more difficult for us to cheat or be dishonest because our questions have been randomized. And when you're grading quizzes, most of your quizzes will be able to self-grade because you will give an answer key. You can select an individual student and view their responses and grade their short answer questions as needed. The Edmodo will auto-grade questions, as I mentioned previously, with the exception of short answer. So as you can see, these two students here got 4 out of 4, which is the equivalent of 100. So you decide what the correct answer is, and you can also decide what the weight is for that question. So you assign the point value to it, and it will calculate the answers for you. The only thing that you will have to go in and grade manually is short answer questions that you include in your quiz. And then you can also view a breakdown of class results, which is really good for data keeping, maybe deciding how you want to reteach, or assessing the difficulty of certain questions. They'll let you know how many people answered what correct. The last thing that we're going to take a look at is the gradebook. So the student gradebook that is available here will give you a list of all the students who are enrolled in your group and your total average, and it will show each individual score for each assignment. You can access their grades and their badges by clicking on the progress bar icon that's at the top of your screen. These scores are automatically updated after each assignment quiz is graded or recorded. So anytime you make a change to an assignment, it's automatically going to reflect in your gradebook. And you can also export these grades into a CSV file. So you can export anything that you've done in Edmodo, take that file, and then upload it to your online grading system and use those grades as a part of what you're doing to turn in report cards or progress reports.